Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations and welcome to another Stamp Happy Holidays video. Today we'll be making a fun fold card and it is a Z fold, but it has a little surprise inside. It is a Z fold with a center pop out panel. Now all that really means is when you open your Z fold, there's this little panel that pops out and it has a greeting on it. Of course, you could also put an image or something else on there that you like. And then the very back of the card, you can put some pattern paper to just add a little bit, fancy it up a bit. And on the front of this one, I've used pattern paper. It's actually a thin cardstock, but it was perfect for this card. And actually, this pack of paper, I can't remember what it's called, but it will be on my corresponding blog post. I really liked it. It has some Halloween designs, but the colors are muted. And I thought that was just perfect for a lot of my friends who are a little bit older. They like the cutesy Halloween, but they also appreciate something that's just a little bit different, a little bit more, I guess we could say, sophisticated. So I really liked that paper pack. And I was hoping I had it right here, but of course I don't. But like I said, you can find the name of that paper pack and where I got it on my corresponding blog post. Now, here is a little snowman. You can see up for the greeting, I've put just a little snowflake image in there. And then here is a little Santa with a little Christmas tree, very merry, and then the greeting. It's just how it works, just like that. I don't know that this is so much a pop out as an extension, but we'll just go with Z fold with the center pop out panel. And yes, this stands up very nicely. You'll be able to see all three panels. And if you look down here, you'll see the little mechanism that makes this work, little pop-out mechanism. Now, we've made these before for a lot of different cards that I make. I call them box sleeves, or I call them square cylinders, knowing that for the most part, cylinders are round, but that's basically what it is. It's just this square, and it works great to make that card just extend like that or pop out. So let's walk through how to make one of these. It's not hard at all. We'll get out the supplies that we need, and we're going to need a scoreboard or a trimmer with a score blade. And then we will have this first cardstock panel right here, and it's 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. Now all the measurements you will find on that corresponding blog post, and the link to that blog post is in the description of this video. But that is this first cardstock panel right there. And then the second one is, I have to check my cheat sheet here, 4 1/4 by 3, and that goes right there. And then this back one is 4 3/4 by 4. Or you can make it 5 1/4 by 4. It just depends on how you want to do it, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So we have our 2 cardstock panels, and I've also made this panel to go right here on the inside, and it is 3 3/4 by 2 1/2 because we want this to cover it up when the card is closed. Now for their little mechanism, we need this piece that I believe is 4 1/4 by 2. We're going to score that. And then we have our card base that is 11 by 4 1/4, and we will score this together. Now, this piece right here is what we're going to put the back of the card. And like I said, that for this one is 4 3/4 by 4. And then we have another piece of pattern paper, and it is for right here, and it is 2 1/2 by 4. No, it's not 4. Yes, 2 1/2 by 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and score our card base. This will be very familiar to you because it's basically a Z-fold. It's a landscape-oriented Z-fold. So we're going to start scoring at 2 3/4. And then we're going to score at 5 1/2. And while we're scoring, let's score our little mechanism here that will make the center pop out. And we're going to score it at 1/2 of an inch. And then we're going to score it at 1 inch and 1 1/2. And we're finished with our scoring. So now we'll just fold our card base. And if you remember, we're just folding it into half to make our card base. And then for our landscape-oriented card base for Z-fold, we fold back the front, just fold it in half. And that's why we made that score line at 2 3/4. It's just not liking to line up. There it goes. We'll just use the bone folder to put a good crisp crease on our folds. And there's the Z-fold part. And now I'm going to fold this, and all these are going to be mountain folds. So first I'll just fold them, and then we'll go over with the bone folder. And there we have that. Like I say, we're going to make our little square cylinder with it here in a sec. But let's go ahead. Let's pop our pattern paper on the front. Just line it up, center it, just like always, top to bottom, side to side. Just get it as best you can. Okay, there's that. Now, if you wanted to put some pattern paper here as well, you could, and this would be a good time to do that. It would be the same measurements, 2 1/2 by 4, but I'm not going to do that today. But the next thing we want to do, if you want your back panel of pattern paper to be 5 1/4 by 4 to go all the way across, this is the time to put it down. You would put it down right now. This one isn't as long, but like I say, you would just put it down right now. If you want pattern paper here, put it down. If you want the 5 1/4 by 4, put it down now. Because now we're going to get this mechanism ready. So what we're going to do, we're going to just fold it so that these two ends are in the center, or you can just do it like this. We're going to put adhesive on the ends, and we want to use a strong adhesive. So I use Stampin' Up! Stampin' Seals, but I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus because it's stronger. Because this is going to get a workout when we put it in the center here. Every time you open and close the card, it's going to get a workout. So we need to make sure that we get it down here. I don't know what's going on with my adhesive, but it is not doing what I want it to. Oh, I know what's wrong. It got off its track. There we go. See if we can get a little more. There, that's better. Now what we're going to do, remember you've got adhesive here and adhesive here, so, you know, keep this one away. Fold one under and get it ready. And we're going to put it right here, right above, along and above the score line. So we're just going to get it right there, just like that. Then we're going to fold this, have our other end, fold it down and over, and you can push it in place. You will feel it hit up against the other end. I'm going to just kind of use our bone folder, the back here, and on the other side to really push that adhesive on to the card. And there you have it. That's our mechanism that will cause the center panel to pop out. And I see that this really needs pushed down a little bit more there. There we go. Okay, so now let's put our back panel on of our pattern paper. Now, as you can see, the reason this is shorter is because you can line it up and you would see an even border. But some people just like this to go on under the mechanism here, and that's fine too. But we'll just put this on. Whichever one you prefer. Like I said, just put the 5 1/4 by 4 on before you put on the mechanism. And let's get this lined up side to side, top to bottom, all nice and centered. There we go. And now you have options, but you can put this in right now, the center panel, or you can put your front panel on. It doesn't matter at all, but you want to make sure that when this is all together, it's all centered rather nicely. So I usually start with the center one, and I'm going to put my greeting. I have added an extra panel. You could, of course, stamp right on this. You could make that white as opposed to the green that I've used. It's up to you. But I just made another extra panel for this one. I'm going to put it right here. And this panel is the same size as this front panel. And that was 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. Because if I do this right, this should hide that when the card is closed. So we're going to put some adhesive right along this edge, and I think I'll go ahead and use the stronger adhesive. And then I'm going to just open this up and center it from top to bottom as best I can. Just fold that flat so you can get it on there. That's a little crooked. It may have to stay a little crooked because of the adhesive that I used. Let me see. We might be able to adjust it just a tad here. See how that looks. It's a little better. It's still a little crooked. Okay, and now we have our top panel. And we want it to be, see how we can, see how to hide that by putting this top panel on last. So I'm going to just put adhesive over on this side. And then we'll just line this up with the little box or the little panel that's on the inside. And there we go. Now, of course, we need something out here. You can see that is crooked, isn't it? We need a little something out here to decorate this up a bit. So I have made this little elf guy. Thought he was cute. And I found this little, it's a bow, but I thought it would make a cute bow tie. I found it in my box of embellishments that I need to use up. And I know it's from Stampin' Up, but I could not tell you the year. It's been years. And I thought, oh, I need to use that. And then I also found some little red dots. I'm taking the backings off of these dimensionals. I had 6 on there. I wanted to make sure it stays on. So I'm just putting him down like this. And there he is. And like I said, I found some of these little teeny tiny red dots, and I'm really not sure where they came from either. But we're going to use them. And let's see here if I can get them off. Okay. Let's put one up here. About the same size as the little holly berries there. Let me get my, if I can find it, my little thing from my Take Your Pick tool. I just took it off of the handle because I didn't really need the handle to do this. And then let's see if we can get this last one off. Okay. And there we go. There's our card. That's our Z-fold with a center pop-out panel. So there's the one we just made. Here is that snowman one. And then the Santa. And then the one I made for Halloween. And there we go. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And as I said, there's more information on my corresponding blog post about the measurements and how to put this together, and also the supplies that I used. Until next time, stamp happy.